Okay, so basically this review was split into 2 parts because I already verified a YouTube channel, 2 YouTube channels with my same phone number, and now I can't even do it on this one. So I'm forced to split it into 2. Now track 11, A Hunger Aches. Okay, this is the second song I've ever heard from the artist of Bryan Deister. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right. After digging into their discography because of a microtonal Vocaloid song I very much like. It starts off with a fucking maniac arpeggio. I don't know how it was made, but it sounds like an absolutely fucked up circus that I would never visit, but I would like to watch on TV at home. I love how the vocals are so watered and smudged into the mix, while everything else here is either in your face or very subtle. The chorus, where it switches in between the main idea of like a crazy arpeggio and a more melodic part, feels like a final showdown or a fight to the death in the circus I was imagining when listening to this. This is a great track, and it is the scariest. 9 out of 10. Track 12. Licorice Hearted. That's a weird name. It looks nice though. The song feels like it feels quite nostalgic due to the keyboard's texture and the melody. That feels like innocent and not at the same time. It normally sounds like it's innocent. No, it feels like innocent at first until the strings come in and add more dissonance and like drama in between. And they change the context completely. And also, the song feels a lot more classical than the others. It feels like looking back on all the bad things you did in your past, even if it's a tiny bit of things. And they're all in a filled up container with every single memory. And you're trying to burn all of them with a pile of matchsticks. The drums that come in feel very tribal with the flutes. And I extremely appreciate that. The song's mix feels like there was a lot of care put into it. And it sounds great. 9.5 out of 10. Track 13, Ferris Wheel. I imagine this song as enjoying a Ferris wheel at night and not trying to get caught for sneaking in. It sounds very silly and much like it would fit, like be a perfect fit for a fucked up movie. Not morally, but what it does to its characters, like making their characters experience getting bored by a 6-eyed creature with 7 legs and then apologizing right after. The instrument choices are just great, and the vocals come together all well. 9.7 out of 10. Track 14. Holding back my endless sigh. I feel like this one is one of the most melancholic songs on the album with that pad going with the vocals. The vocals feel like they're hesitating to say something more, but not for my own sake, or else I would probably go batshit insane or something. I don't know. And then they go in this like catchy, like super catchy choir with this fast-paced bass line. Very cool. It also sounds very nasty at the same time, but very cool at the same time. 8 out of 10. Track 15. Casting shadows on my mantle. I love the riff on this. I don't know why. The ambience here is great, and also the drums carry this track. I wouldn't have liked it as much if it didn't have the drums. The song exactly feels like the cover art, and very nice arpeggios. That's all I have to say for that one. 8.6 out of 10. Track 16, Turning Point! Well, it does feel like a turning point. I love how silly the vibraphones sound with this, and serious at the same time. The beginning feels like a blue square that keeps turning orange every couple of seconds, and you get in the zone of its pace. Like, the pace, it keeps changing in between the two, so the pace that feels odd feels normal over time. Like listening to microtonal songs, it does not feel normal until you really get into it and just get used to it over time. The part after the beginning reminds me of a 1920s jazz or just pop song from the 1920s with the melody choice and chord choices. The vocals very much carried the song. The guitar solo was fire as fuck, and 9 out of 10. Now, This is track 17. I don't know how to pronounce the last word, so I'm gonna just try. Whistling like an Orpheum. I probably really mispronounced that. I kind of forgot about this song until I reheard it. It sounds very, very pretty with its instrument choices, and it feels like it gets even more pretty when the bass comes in. It feels like a Jurassic Park theme, but a shit ton more expansive, and like if there were instead space dinosaurs. There was a moment where there were 2 kicks in my right ear, and I thought someone knocked on my window, so thanks for that. I feel like, though, even though it was very pretty, it was a little too repetitive with the main riff, but I can still close my eyes and listen to it at the same time. 7 out of 10. Track 18, Black Moon Chicory Coffee. The breathy vocals and the mix paired with the piano here are a match made in actually heaven. It actually feels like a match in heaven. With the piano just sounding slow and somber, reminding me of, Dear God, I Hate Myself by ChuhCharlet. The dissonant guitar chords in the middle of that part remind me of Captain Beefheart. And then there's a beautiful chorus that feels like the moment I realized that it feels like the moment that I realized that I'm very, very much in love with someone. And instead of going crazy, I gracefully accept it instead of burying it into the dust. Beautiful track! 9 out of 10! 9 out of 10! Okay, the last track, Raised in the Wild. This is the most hopeful sounding song on the entire album. The guitars make it feel like folk. The guitars make it feel like folk. The chord progressions feel like they keep going in the state of either choosing sadness or just hope. And this just makes me feel like it feels like the world we're in. There's so much bad shit happening, and a lot of us are depressed. And we're not faking it. But a lot of us currently in the world are trying to do something about it by making art and trying to be more hopeful about it. The song is so simple but effective. It's very, very beautiful. The brass in the outro is so somber. Great one! 9 out of 10! My main takeaways now. It all feels so shimmery for obvious reasons, and a lot of the tracks melt into each other, which makes them either feel memorable or not. This album, you need to listen to twice, or, you kind of need to listen to it twice to reconsider some of the tracks that left your mind, but don't let that make you think this album isn't worth the listen. It's a very good mix of dark and silly with chanting like drums at points. I don't know, I'm not good at this. LOL. The synthesizers feel like they escaped churches, and the guitars feel like they're in the middle of modern, yet classical sounding for me. Someone please tell me if I'm wrong for comparing classical guitars to this. I don't know. And there was beautiful instrument choices at points, and sometimes they blur too much for my head to make patterns. Some parts of the albums feel like they're mocking the state of stabilists. One thing I can say overall is the vocals sound very pretty or passionate on the entire album. All over the record, yeah. Even though it's really hard to make out what they're saying. And the second half is a lot better than the first half. This is a great album. I don't know what to rank it. Damn. I think an 8.7 out of 10. I haven't reviewed too much, so I don't know what would be a good review for an album I very much like. Goodbye, and Bryan Deister. I hope you see this, because I did this, and I reviewed your album. Yeah.